G'day everyone, I'm Blaze, and welcome back to episode number 13 of the TriPoint podcast. I'm going to be joined by Kinunners as per usual, and today we'll be talking about things.
Things in general. I have no idea what number it is. I am pretty sure it's 13.
Yes, things. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's 13. Off memory, I think 12 was last week.
Where is the number? Yes, it is 13.
Yeah, any hoodle. I guess before we get started, I quickly want to mention that there won't be another Sonic this weekend because I am busy on my last week of uni.
Yeah.
And other things are going on as well. Therefore, yeah, probably no Sonic this weekend.
I've got Slime Rancher.
The Mario and the Mario video will be out at some point.
I've got Slime Rancher to try and keep people entertained.
Yeah, it seems to be doing well.
Okay.
And
before we start,
you said you had things to start with things.
Wait, before we start though, I finished the main story of Tears of the Kingdom the other day.
Oh my gosh.
Yep.
It came out.
And I want to say the final boss is really derpy looking.
Oh, is it?
The third stage, or the third phase specifically, is very, very goofy.
Oh, okay. Interesting.
Just looks really funny.
I'll see that at one point.
I did it. I finished the game, technically. I'm still trying to go around and find all the caves, though.
Yeah.
I think I've got like 24 left or something.
Okay.
And wells.
Wells? Have you not got all the wells?
Yeah, the wells. No, but I'm very close to.
Oh. Can you say
Luckily,
well,
I can search
3
for
holes
them.
in the ground?
Well. I can search for them.
You're right.
Through the sensor.
You're leading the topics today. I don't have anything really at all.
So, okay. In the topic of characterization, right? I saw on the internet the other day someone asking why people don't like main characters who have flaws.
Oh.
And they instead tend to like villains.
Wait, what?
This person was upset. Don't know who they were, but they were upset because they tend to like main characters that have flaws rather than what seems to be most people where they don't like main characters with flaws and then prefer the villains.
Yeah.
Which I personally think it's because people aren't able to write flawed characters that well, and so they just end up being kind of annoying, especially if they are a main character.
Where does where does the term flaw start, however? Like,
I don't know. They didn't define it, so I'm assuming it's like
someone could have, I don't know, their flaw could be that they sometimes trip over. Does that count as like a flawed character? Like,
I think so. I think it could usually consists of like a couple of traits that just like are considered flaws, you know, like.
Yeah, because
I don't know how to explain it.
The anime that I'm watching at the moment, The Daily Life of the Immortal King, the flaw is almost that he has no flaws.
Yeah.
That's a different way of doing it.
But see, that makes him interesting.
Yeah. It makes his life problematic because he's flawless.
Yeah. Whereas,
yeah.
I know there seems to be like a fair amount of authors that like they have this main character, right? And for the most part, they're pretty good, right? That's fine. But then they like try and introduce a flaw, or they have a flaw there from the beginning that they just like write into everything. And instead of just being like a natural flaw that's just kind of there sometimes, it's like it just makes them annoying.
Yeah. That's fair.
I think that's where the problem is. Yeah.
Is that someone who's strong to your mind?
He's something, okay? He's just...
He's presented as one without flaws.
Yeah, but he definitely does have flaws.
Oh, golly. Is there...
But yeah.
Yeah.
And then, yeah, people tend to like the characterization of villains a lot. But I think that's just because they have interesting stories, generally.
Yeah, I guess generally to become like a villain, there has to be some sort of story behind it.
Yeah.
However, like...
Whereas, like, sometimes you just have a main character and they're just there and it's like, but why are you here?
Yeah. I think it can go both ways. Like, the thing with villains is they generally have this, like, big backstory for something. However, like, for a different person, that backstory could completely change. They could be completely different. Like,
yeah.
I think back to the Tales of Vesperia movie.
Oh, yeah.
Where, like, it's said in the game many different times, all these different things, and it's almost completely contradicted in the movie.
Yeah.
And it's like, the movie was meant to set out to, like, show the backstories of these characters. However, like, these characters should have had their, like, backstories flipped.
Different. Almost. Yeah, it's kind of odd. And then again, I suppose that's just people's interpretations as well.
Yeah. It's fair.
Like, I think one of the people I see it with as well the most, which I like Corrin, right? But in Fate specifically, which everyone knows the writing of that game is... Yeah. It's something. I think Corrin in particular was written to be, like, kind of like that naive, very trusting, person. Yeah. That's like, I don't see the wrong in people. Very specifically. But it's brought up everywhere and with everyone, and they just never develop past that.
Yeah.
And it's like, Corrin, come on, please. Sometimes it's just like, I don't even want to follow you anymore, man.
Yeah. That's interesting, because, like, generally that's my favorite type of character.
Yeah, that's fair.
However, I feel like Corrin's biggest flaw is that she's not wearing shoes.
That's the problem. She trusts the grass even.
Oh, golly. What happens if she steps on glass?
I have no idea. Anything. What if she steps on a rock? Like...
Yeah. Oh, golly.
I don't know. But yeah, and then you have... I know a lot of people are very half and half on Alear. But I like Alear, simply the fact that they're weirdly self-aware about everyone around them.
Yeah. Alear's like, Alear's like characterized as like the straight one, like the straight man of the group.
Yeah. That's true, yeah.
Like, everyone else around her is like quirky or her, him, or whoever, whichever way you go.
Yeah, we're used to seeing it as her.
Quirky and strange and all sorts of everything.
And also, like, weirdly obsessed with them half the time as well.
Yeah. Whereas Alear
just like, I don't know what's going on.
Yeah, what was happening here. However, Alear's like very trusting as well.
Yeah, but it's done in a way where it's not like,
Yeah. Yeah, I think Alear as well, her big character flaw that they reveal, the fact that she could be evil, I feel like that's it's a very, like, forced character flaw.
It is. I think that's why I saw it as a little bit jarring when it first came up. I was like, okay.
Yeah.
That really doesn't do much for me here, like...
Yeah, it's sort of like, it's not that it comes out of nowhere, it's more that it's like...
Yeah, but...
There's nothing in this character as they currently are to, like, show that flaw.
Yeah, they're just kind of like, this is fine.
Yeah. Well, it is interesting.
Yeah.
I mean, at the moment we're talking for Fire Emblem characters. Is there anyone else you're specifically thinking of?
Well, I don't know. Not in particular. There's a lot of people who don't like Byleth simply just for being a silent protagonist.
Yeah, I'm not the biggest fan of Byleth either, to be fair.
I've never had a problem with Byleth. I think it's just because Byleth as well is also meant to be more of a self-insert than anything.
Yeah.
So, I think that's a lot of people's problems.
When you think about that, however, like, you got, like, Chief is, like, a self-insert for a lot of his stuff.
But he's still got his own personality.
Yeah. I mean, his personality...
That's true.
His personality was very, oh, how do I explain it? Like very like I don't know, brave, I guess.
Yeah, very
His
much like,
personality
let's go
wasn't
do
fleshed
this
out
thing.
too much until 4 and 5, and even then, they wasn't very fleshed out very well. I think Infinite did a better job, to be honest.
They did a bit, yeah. The one thing they did do okay.
Chief is now like almost like a father figure in Infinite.
Yeah,
It's really odd.
it's definitely interesting.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people have the problem where character depth as well is shown in like different ways in different things, and so people end up just interpreting characters differently.
Yeah.
Is the
Yeah.
other part of
I
it?
think, I mean, a lot of it is subjective, to be
Yeah.
fair. Yeah, it's something that being in uni, I've seen with my screenwriting teachers where they think it's all objective fact.
Oh,
And that's something that's like, I've seen the other way around, like
yeah.
through experience.
I
Like,
mean,
all this sort of stuff was like the fact that you even there needs to be dialogue in something to create emotion
oh,
is what my screenwriting teachers like.
it's the bane of my existence.
And it's like the most emotion comes from visual aid. It's not like
Yeah. Like, they just don't seem to, like, realize that, like, expressions exist.
yeah,
Like,
and then like yeah, characterization is it's really
certainly,
odd. Like especially in screenwriting and stuff like that. Like a lot of things I've noticed these days, they try to go really dark with characterization
they really do.
and
And
plot in
sometimes
general.
it can work well, don't get me wrong. But other times it's like, come on now. Like, does everything have to be this?
Yeah, I want things to be happier and nicer.
Yeah,
That's what I
see where
want.
that comes in.
Oh golly.
I don't know where else to take this. To be honest.
There's no one else you wanted to discuss?
I'm also just had that kind of wanted to talk about that very interesting opinion of preferring a flawed main character.
Yeah. Oh, who else is a flawed main character that we can think of?
That is a good question.
I think like if we start going through different, like if we go through different games, like Scarlet Nexus, I guess.
Scarlet Nexus. Everyone
Kasane
in
is
that game is
presented as a
either
flawless
flawed-
character, however, with underlying flaws.
Yeah.
I think that's a little bit interesting. I think that's why a lot of people find her more interesting than Yuito, who is simply presented as a flawed
Very-
character.
Yeah. He's very much just this guy of like, oh yeah, here's this guy's issues.
Yeah, he's a flawed character with the personality that doesn't like mix with it.
It's strange.
I think that's my opinion on it at least, and that's why I prefer Yuito
That's
over
kind of how I
Kasane.
see him. But I prefer Kasane.
And then you got like you got like I guess more kid like characters like Mario and all that sort of thing. They're presented as very flawless characters.
Yeah. But they kind of make more sense though,
Yeah,
especially when they are panned into like a certain audience.
yeah. And then like
I guess
Sonic characters are very mixed with people.
Depends
Some
on who
people
they're
want them to
written
be
by.
like super like in depth, and others want them to be like nothing, like cardboard
Yeah,
cutouts
that
of
one very much.
like stereotypes and such.
Very much depends on who they're written by, I think.
Yeah, it's funny like watching the Sonic Boom series because like they're more stereotyped than the general Sonic characters. However, like
Yeah.
I think they have more flaws that go with it because of that, and they explore those
Yeah.
flaws a little bit.
They do.
Like Sonic
I mean-
always gets like messed up a little bit because like he's like very rash and everything like that. He like tries to get everything done quicker without the team sometimes and stuff.
Yeah, he's like supposed to be kind of like overconfident.
Yeah, that's probably the better one. And then Knuckles is Knuckles.
Knuckles is
Sonic
Knuckles.
Boom. I think it's interesting, like if you watch from the start of Sonic Boom to the end of Sonic Boom, to see how the characters changed from the initial like
Yeah.
design idea. Like they had like I'd imagine they had an idea in mind. However, over time it's like changed.
Yeah.
to be like very specific. Like I was gonna say the. Where's my brain taking this? Like Amy specifically, like at the very beginning, she was very much like meant to be the sweet one, meant to be like very like emotional and always talking
Yeah.
about emotions and stuff like that and trying to help everyone. Have like over time she becomes more of a tsundere,
Yeah.
where she tries to like she sort of keeps up with that like original pitch. However, like it's more in like I guess a sarcastic manner, and
Yeah.
that sort of goes with like all the characters, I guess.
They've just developed to be more sarcastic.
Yeah, they're like
Actually, yeah, that's true.
hyper exaggerated versions of like their normal versions.
Yeah.
Because then you got like in Sonic Frontiers and all that sort of thing, how like Sonic, they've sort of gotten to a point where if they're going to try to keep following lore, it's really difficult to make Sonic flawed
Yeah.
because like he's been over that much development over the years. Like,
Yeah, it's gotten to the point where it's like he shouldn't really be flawed necessarily.
yeah. Whereas in Frontiers, they sort of almost took it a little bit of a different direction where it's all the other characters that have the big flaws.
Yeah.
Like you go to Knuckles and he's talk about how he's the last kid and he's got to stay on Angel Island, and Sonic's like, oh, sometimes you can leave, it's okay, and all that sort of stuff. Tails
Yeah.
wants independence.
I mean, Tails was fair enough.
Tails has been moved back and forth, left and right over the years.
Yeah.
Very inconsistent writing. And then Amy is almost like a little bit like Tails as well, where it's independence, however not independence at the same time. It's a little bit strange.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's what it's sort of like in Sonic Frontiers. And then I guess you got other like Nintendo games really don't have like developed characters, I guess.
No, they tend to have like very straightforward, simple. This person is this person.
Yeah, and that's
Kind of
not necessarily a
characters.
bad thing. Like
No, it's not bad at all. I don't think. But
yeah, I think it's very interesting to like see like Nintendo's approach to story compared to a lot of other companies. Like
yeah,
Sony's very big into like the like big action like story based titles and all that sort of thing.
yeah,
Whereas like Microsoft exists, and then Nintendo's much more into like the like fairly like even if you look at Ocarina of Time, like while the story can be a little bit more complex, I wouldn't necessarily say it's deep. Like
yeah,
like it's fairly straightforward when you look at it. Like Link goes from A to
yeah,
B to this to that. It follows like the normal story traits and all that sort of thing. Have like
yeah. It's a very like
yeah.
this is the story.
I think with Ocarina, it's more that there's a lot of story as opposed to like
Like
how like
complex
deep
story.
the story is. Yeah,
Yeah, that
it's
makes
very
sense.
interesting. And like, it's not to say it's a bad way of doing a story. I quite enjoyed Ocarina
No.
when I played it. Same with
I don't mind them at all, especially if you are looking for something that's just simple. You know.
Yeah, yeah. It's more
Not
like a
si-
simple
simple's
action
not the right word,
adventure
but-
type thing. It's simple. It's similar to like not in theming or anything like that. How like similar, I guess, a little bit more in story structure to like the original Star Wars movie. So,
Yeah,
like,
I was just
the
like,
first one and everything like that, where it's very much about the hero's journey first and foremost.
yeah. You've got like
And then,
side
like-
things along the way, but
Yeah, and then world building second, and then like
yeah,
the rest of the complexity of the story is like after that.
yeah.
That's how I see it at least.
That makes sense. I think.
And then you got things like what other franchise like Star Fox has been reusing the same story for years.
I mean, what more can they do? I suppose.
I don't know. Being a
not
sci-fi, I'd
exactly the
imagine they'd be able to do
easiest
all sorts
to-
of different things. However,
Yeah, but with what they have going, it's not really.
yeah. And then what else is there, Nintendo wise? I'm trying to go through the franchises in my head.
Is there a Nintendo? I mean, you've got like a Metroid, which
Yeah, I
Sort of
think
follows the
that's
same
the other
sort of
thing I
thing
guess
as
with
well.
Nintendo as well is like on the surface, their stories are very simple. However, like they have a lot of back lore.
Yeah.
I think
It
is
feels like
something
you need
interesting.
to read a book for half of them.
Yeah, which is something that Halo you need to do if you want to know all the other lore.
Halo's built different.
How like yeah, Nintendo's one's like there's a lot of theories that you can create out of it because it's left as simple as it is as well.
Yeah.
Like, I think you'll generally find online, at least from my experience, there'll be a lot more people creating theories around Nintendo stuff as opposed to like other games and other
Yeah.
franchises. Whether or not that's because they're popular or because of like
Could be from anything.
yeah, have like it is interesting to sort of look at, I guess.
Oh,
Oh,
we didn't even look at Pokemon.
Pokemon. Pokemon has
Yeah,
almost
one of the
no
like
character
most
development.
yeah, one of the most non-story esque
It's
series
funny because
I've
they're
ever
like
seen.
they like try to show it off like there's a massive story like
There really isn't.
type stuff. However, there's really not that much. Like I enjoyed Scarlet and Violet's story quite a bit,
Yeah.
to be completely honest. However, I think overall it's a little bit like I don't know. It's how do you explain it? It's not like there's much to like sink into in the way of like I think Diamond and Pearl generally gets lauded the most for its story, or at least Platinum.
Okay.
And I'm not sure 100% why because I haven't played it that much. However, like
Yeah.
I think there is a fair. Pokemon has a lot of like lore behind the scenes as well.
Yeah. I
Like
think
in X and
that's
Y, there's like the
Nintendo's
guy
way
who's
of
like
doing
over
it.
100 years old and all that sort of thing.
Yeah. That's Nintendo's way of doing it.
Yeah.
If you find lore behind it, there you go.
And then there's like yeah, Mario has like almost nothing.
Yeah.
Hilarious, actually, except if you look at the RPGs.
Well, that's where most storytelling comes in general, I think. It's
Yeah.
just in RPGs.
Where I don't know about any of the RPG stories for Mario because I don't play RPGs in
Yeah.
general. However, yeah, I don't know. It's interesting.
Yeah, I think Nintendo's biggest like actual like has a story, has character development kind of series would be Xenoblade and Fire Emblem.
Yeah, yeah, definitely.
And I think that's basically
I
it.
think they're definitely the most in depth.
Yeah.
And then
And I can't really think of anything else from Nintendo that's like, oh yes, such depth in story. Like
yeah, there's a lot of like Earthbound has a big story.
yeah, but like I feel like most people like even if they do know what Earthbound is, they're like, I have no idea what the story is.
Yeah, I think
So
yeah, like Earthbound has like a lot of story. However, like I think we're more like just thinking of like the newer, like the continuing games as opposed to ones that have finished.
yeah.
Series that have finished, like you know the Earthbound series, Mother series has like a lot of story and a lot of lore.
Yeah. But only if you go back and play it. Or
Yeah,
find it.
or watch it online or something.
Yeah.
And then like because what else is there? There's like the old Star Tropics stuff. That's all old Nintendo things. I think
Yeah.
they had a lot more story based stuff back in the day. Golden Sun and
Yeah,
all that sort
and
of
then they've
stuff.
kind of sort of switched into a different format, which I think is fine.
Yeah, I mean I'm fine with that sort of stuff. I guess we
Doesn't
can't really
bother me.
comment on PlayStation things that much.
Yeah, PlayStation, I feel like most of its stuff is story based, actually.
Yeah, I like
Depends.
Ratchet and Clank.
Yeah,
I am of I think the controversial opinion that I prefer the remake over the original Ratchet and Clank. However, that's me because I know a lot of people like
Yeah.
the original Ratchet and Clank's humor. However, I prefer the newer ones personally.
yeah.
I'm
I
not
think
not
that's
big
fine.
into that sort of humor and all that sort of thing. Never played Jack and Daxter.
Neither have I.
Uh, never
I
played
know what it
any of
is.
the
That's about it.
Horizon games or the Last of Us games or anything like that.
Yeah.
Generally not my type of thing.
Final Fantasy is the only thing I know of that's even
Yeah,
not, you know?
yeah. Final Fantasy is very I don't know. Final Fantasy, it's
There's
very
a fair
complex,
amount of story.
and it's very
Yep.
specific.
Yeah.
Like to each game. Like there's no like
Yeah,
chronological
it
order
is.
for a lot of things. I don't even know why they number
Yeah.
them.
There may be certain characters that come through, but that's about it.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't even know why they number them. And then like the Final
I have
Fantasy
no
7
idea.
stuff has taken over pretty much everything.
Yeah, I think that's fine.
Oh golly. And Final Fantasy 15 is a road trip with people. Final Fantasy is a
I'm
very like
still yet to play it.
changing series. It changes a lot.
Yeah.
Oh, but
Yeah, there's a lot of different things going on there.
Yeah. I think it's interesting how they can go from like typical like mythical dragons and knights to I don't know, sci-fi what's it called when like the world's in despair?
Sci-fi dystopias.
Dystopia, yeah. Dystopian sci-fi. And then yeah, all sorts of different things. Magic, science, up, down, left, right.
And then a car.
And the car. Oh golly. Yeah, Final
The
Fantasy is
biggest
very
change in the series.
very strange series when you look at it because like and then there's things like Fallout and Skyrim which I don't know much about. I don't know what their stories are.
Me.
Yeah.
Fallout, I think it depends. Like, it's very, like, it's not the same story unless they manage to connect somewhere. But
Yeah.
it's, like, the same sort of storyline.
Yeah. Okay.
That's basically it. You go outside, out of
Are
the
they all,
vault.
they're all like set in the same world.
that's-
Is that sort of how it is?
I actually don't know.
Hmm.
I think so.
I imagine they probably might be.
I don't know. I've played a bit of Fallout 3 and that's it. So,
Yeah. And then Skyrim.
Skyrim, I love Skyrim. It's great.
Okay.
It's a bunch of mythical whatever's going on. There's like 7 different stories going on at the same time half the time in that.
Oh,
So
okay. Yeah.
it is complexity, the definition.
A lot of confusion for me. I can't handle that sort of stuff.
Constantly switching between quests.
Yeah. And then
That's what Skyrim is.
like Starfield, don't know anything about. I know No Man's Sky has like a very simple story.
I don't even know what the story of No Man's Sky is.
You're a person trying to make your way in the world, basically,
Oh, I thought you were just going to leave it at you're a person.
or in the worlds, I should say.
Yeah, in the many worlds.
Then there's this thing like the TV shows for different games and all that sort of thing, which we've sort of touched on before.
Yeah,
Like the Halo one where they tried to overdevelop everybody and ended up making
and
it
then it just didn't work.
strange and wrong and yuck.
It's all over the place.
Yeah.
But it's funny, so
Oh god.
it's a little bit of a pass for that.
Yeah. And then you got like the Knuckles show, which we can't talk about yet because you haven't finished seeing it.
I know. We just don't.
I think it's been like for everyone to know. It's for the like past 3 like podcasts. I've been like asking us like, have you seen all of Knuckles yet?
The problem is the very specific schedules of the people in our household just do not fit correctly half the time.
Yeah. No, that's
To be able
completely
to watch
fair.
And we like all want to watch it, so it's like,
Yeah. And then we want to talk about the Sonic movies on another date and time anyway,
yeah,
which is something we can do at a later time. And then there's like
we need to do when the third one comes out.
yeah.
See the new characterization of Shadow again.
Oh golly. And then what else is there? Anything else of interest? Or is this going to be a shorter podcast?
I don't know. Well, because you've got like going back to games again. You've got like games that have like the story there where it kind of looks like it was developed after the game was,
Yeah.
and like it was just like brought in, which I think is
Yeah, that's sort of like
kind of an odd thing as well.
yeah, that's sort of what like Halo does as well, I guess. Like the first game was very simple in comparison to
Yeah, that's
the
true.
rest of Halo. It was like you're a
I mean-
space soldier man. You go to a ring,
Space Soldier Man.
you battle some aliens, and they're unhappy, and then they accidentally release some virus, and then you battle some virus, and then you blow up the ring.
You battle some fungus.
Some fungus. It's
Some
such a
popcorn.
simple story compared to like 2, where they start putting everything on with the Arbiter as well, and there's like
Yeah.
all the different
It
heretics
gets
and
more
religious
complex.
side of things.
I don't know if this is the case, but the first game of Subnautica, like, is something that looks like this, right? Because, like,
Yeah.
you kind of just start, right? And it makes sense, you know? You're in a giant spaceship that basically gets blown up and you crash in the ocean in a pod. Like, makes
Yeah.
sense, right? But then, like, I feel like, again, I don't know if this is the case, but it always, to me, has looked like the story was implemented after,
Yeah.
in a way. Because then
Yeah.
you're like,
I think it was. I always think of Subnautica as a game without a story.
yeah.
Only because, like,
I mean, because it can be.
back when I played it, there wasn't a story.
Yeah. It's
And
just
then,
fair.
like, even when I've gone back to play it after that, like, the story's never held anything for me.
Yeah, and I think that's fair.
Yeah, I've always thought of, like, Subnautica 1 is, like, the game without the story, and then Subnautica 2 is the
Yeah.
game with all the story.
With all the story.
That's how I was supposed to.
It's true, yeah.
Oh, if we're going to talk about stories, the Destiny stuff. Okay.
Oh, Destiny.
Destiny's like mismatch of multiple stories and stuff and things, and then the
I don't
fact
know
that,
if
like,
you consider Destiny a story.
yeah, the first lot of stories are like, they weren't very well written, to be completely honest.
Yeah.
They're sort of all over the place. However, I would have liked to finish them
Imagine.
before they removed them from the game.
Nah.
It's very odd to see, like, Bungie go from Halo to Destiny, and, like, all the story is lost.
It just collapsed.
Yeah, I think it's very interesting because there's a lot of people who I think sort of see as, like, if Bungie were to go back working on Halo, it would be fine. How, like,
Yeah.
Bungie is a very different company to when they left Halo.
Yeah. I'm like, would it be okay? Like,
They are a very, very different company. I think most of the people who have anything to do with all that sort of story stuff in Halo, like, left. Like,
probably left, yeah.
they're all gone, I think. Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
But I don't know. I always think it's interesting to see, like, how games and whatnot kind of develop once they have a story that is implemented after.
Yeah.
Because it's like, how do you connect this to the very beginning, you know? Like,
Oh,
like where
very
does this
interesting.
actually come in?
Yeah. Anyway, is there anything else much to go on?
I don't think so.
No? It's alright. It'll be a little bit of a shorter podcast this week.
Yeah, I think that's fine.
Yeah. How did our poll go from last week?
None.
Nothing? Okay.
Nothing.
That's fine.
Nothing. We just got the video.
Yeah. How did the fireman poll go?
Donald won.
Donald won.
Donald.
Donald, that's right. Not Donald. Donald.
Yeah. So without the D, yeah, it's Donald. He won,
Oh, that's good.
and everyone's happy for him.
Oh, that's all right.
I need to figure out what the next one is.
Yeah.
By the look of it, it will be it will be a thieves tournament.
Okay.
I was about to say a thieves tournament.
A thief. Does it mean Yonaka will be there?
Probably.
Yay!
And probably Zelko too,
Okay.
if he counts.
Anyway. Yeah, is there anything else to sort of go on about before?
I don't think so. I think that's it.
Yeah, I think not much today. We'll have to come up with a bigger topic
Yeah,
next
we
week.
didn't really have much to go off this week.
Yeah. we are coming up on a very long week for us as well next week.
Yes,
If well, that's
A lot
going to be
of-
very interesting.
things.
Any hoodly haddly way. Yeah. The poll for this week will be.
Something
Do you
about
prefer
story
flawed
or
or flawless
characterization.
characters?
Yeah, there you go.
There we go.
Main
Easy
character
peasy.
specifically, I think.
And then, yeah. Anyway, I hope everybody enjoyed this episode of the podcast. We shall be back in the next one, shall we?
I hope so.
Shall we? Shall we? Cheers, everyone.
I hope we shall. Bye.